Test 1, 2. Good evening. Welcome to the Revere Zoning Board of Appeals. Roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry. If we could stand and salute the flag, please.
Roll
Thank
call
you.
of the members, Mr. Hamdan. Here, Mr. Lemonna. Here, Mr. Lopes. Here, Mr. Pelton. Here, Chairman Tucker.
Here.
Here, and alternate Mr. O'Brien. Here. First matter on tonight's agenda is application A2209. Mario Zapage seeking the following variances for the revised ordinances of the City of Revere to enable the appellant to subdivide existing lots 23, 25, 27, and part lot 29 Boston Street into proposed lots Lot A and Lot B Boston Street for the purpose of constructing a new two-family home on proposed Lot A.
Good afternoon. Name and address for the
Good
record, please.
afternoon. My name is Mario Zapage from 78 Mill Street, Middleton. I'm here for 40 Boston Street, which is a two-family home with 4 parking spots on 4,800 square feet. The lot next to the house is 4,050 square feet, which is by right, it's a buildable lot, but the previous owner moved the lot line years ago to save money on taxes, so requires a variance. I came up with a new, as you guys have in front of you, the new as-built to show where the new house is going, and has like 12 feet, because last time the neighbors were concerned how close was going to be the house with my lot line. So it's like 12 feet. I think by right you only need 5 feet, so.
Something tonight?
Not tonight, no.
Oh, this was the one that we had already. Okay. Yeah.
I presented you 2 days after the first meeting.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Seeing that this is continued from our April 27th meeting,
Yep.
I would ask if there are any proponents, anyone in favor? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. The next thing would be the ward councilor, if you wish to speak.
Good evening, Anthony Cogmiaggia, Ward 3 City Councilor. I did have a conversation with Mr. Lepage, and he did agree to make sure that the structure was 12 feet away from the home. As long as that is the case, then I'm okay with it. I would still like to hear from the neighbors as well on any other concerns they have, though. Thank you.
Okay. I see that there's a, Councilor Rizzo, are you here for this one? Okay, thank you. Are there anyone else wish to speak? Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Donna LeBlanc, 127 Steeple Street. I own the property next door. According to this plan, I don't know if this is the most current one, it looks like it's only 9 feet from house, well, it looks like it's 9 feet, but in this plan, the house I own is actually 2 feet over the lot line. So if this 9 feet is accurate, then it's only 7 feet between each house. A driveway is going there. A car is 6 feet long, let alone opening the doors. This does not look like it's, I was in agreement if it was 12 feet from my house. This plan does not look like it's 12 feet from the house.
And what plan are you referring to, please?
I just picked this up the other day. I don't know if there's a date on it.
It says April 29th on the bottom, April
Yes.
29, 2022.
Yes. So if you look at the house that I own, 30 Boston, and the new 2-story home, house to house in the middle says 9 feet. The parking, a
No,
parking.
that's depicting the parking space, 9 by 18. If you look underneath that, there's a signet that says 12 feet.
Okay, is that 12 feet from the property line or
It's
from the
12 feet from a
house?
property line to the structure.
Okay, so then that's really only 10 feet from my home. Because this is incorrect. My house is actually 2 feet over that property line. I know this picture doesn't depict it, but the houses on that street are all, on the other side of me, their home is 2 feet over the property line. Obviously, 100 years ago, they just kind of eyed it, they didn't measure it. But my house is actually 2 feet on his property. and I should have brought the engineering department had sent me something, I didn't take it. But 30 Boston Street is actually 2 feet on his property.
Okay,
So if it's 12 feet from the house, I don't have a problem. He's still not in compliance. I mean, the other thing I had looked up too, I went on Patriots Properties, and they're saying that the land is only .152 acres, which works out to about 6,700, 6,800 square feet of land, not the 8,000. So pretty much just what I guess I want to say is, you know, the house is going to be stuffed in there. Nobody in the neighborhood wants it. Unfortunately, they're mostly older people, so nobody else showed up other than me. But we're still stuffing this house in there. In this old neighborhood, the houses are far enough apart. This is going to be stuffed in between.
okay. Was there a pin-to-pin survey? How was this survey?
Yes, this is 3 weeks old.
So a surveyor was out there
Out
pin-to-pin?
there, I send him back again, and this is accurate, everything you see in this plan. So it shows where her house is, where's the lot line, it's 12 feet. 9 feet is the parking,
So you're saying 12 feet from my house?
yes. As you see, the plot plan shows,
But my house is over the line. It's really over the line. I should have brought all
but
of
it
that.
shows you where your house is and where the lot line is. This is from the.
They did a lot line from this, they
From the
did a
last meeting,
certified
yes.
plot plan from pin to pin, so
Yes.
that's the accurate
This is
plot
the
plan.
accurate.
Okay, all right. If it is not, I mean, I'm going back to, I went to the engineering department here, and they told me that the house is 2 feet over. So if it is, I'm gonna go back there. Unfortunately, I didn't take it with me. If it is, then I'll just go to land court. I just want, if it's 12 feet from the house, I have absolutely no problem.
I don't have
You
no
don't
reason to
live
lie.
there, you're not gonna live there, you don't understand the neighborhood. It's a wonderful old neighborhood.
Okay, well, we're not supposed to be debating
I
here,
know, I'm
so-
sorry, I'm sorry.
So this was a certified plot plan, and it was, they had it done by pin to pin, so it wasn't that they didn't measure. This was all measured out, according to the
Right, I
person here.
understand.
And it's a stamped drawing that shows that a professional land surveyor did this.
Okay,
So that's all we can go by.
all right, all right. So if I go back to your engineering department and show what they have for the plot plan?
Doesn't mean a thing. This is a certified this is a certified plot plan. If the engineering department had something different, then you should have brought that with you. But this plan was just done within a couple of weeks.
Right, right. No, I understand that, but when I went up to the engineering department,
When did you do that, though?
actually, I talked to them again today, but 2 weeks ago, and they said my house was 2 feet over the property line.
Okay. Are there anyone else in opposition? Hearing and seeing, I'll close that side here. Any members wish to speak?
Can you do like subject to verification with the engineering department?
We go by a certified plot plan here, so if there is a dispute, the person could take it to land court, could go down to engineering, if they're disputing this plot plan, it could go to land court. But we gotta go by, this was a pin to pin, so it wasn't just a plot plan that they went by existing measurements. They went down to the property and measured. I mean, and is that correct?
Yes.
They took
I
measurements?
send him back there and make sure.
Okay. Because normally they just go by the plans that are here. It was an instrumental survey, correct? That's what he's saying?
And
Yes, John Russell, I use him almost.
the requirement is 10 feet.
It's 10 feet, yeah.
The requirement is 10 feet, side yard.
Yeah.
But like I said, my concern was,
Okay, we can't talk like that. If you want to come up to the microphone, you're welcome to talk, but we can't debate back and forth.
yes, I understand the 10 feet, and that's fine, long as it's from my house and not the lot line, according to the engineering department, and they actually even said to me, you know, you want to make a big deal about this, they can make you tear your house down, which I highly doubt is going to happen. But they said my house is 2 feet over the lot line. So 10 feet is what's legal, then that means only 8 foot. It's not enough for a driveway. Initially, he had told us that the driveways were going to be in the front of the house. So we had some space in between.
Okay, so that this isn't debated. He did a survey and it says 12 feet. So if you were 2 feet, so let's say the 10 feet. 10 feet is, he doesn't have to be, so
Exactly, long as
it's already here.
10 feet from the house. If you, okay,
They're saying 12 feet.
they're saying it's
But if they
going
were
to be
wrong by
12.
2 feet, it's still 10 feet. And
From
10
my
feet,
house.
and 10 feet is already in,
Okay,
okay? Are there anyone else wish to speak? Any other members? Hearing none? What's the motion? Motion to approve? Then I would ask for a roll call, please.
Shall the zoning board of appeals grant the relief requested? Mr. Hemdan? Yes. Mr. Lemonna? Yes. Mr. Lopes? Yes. Mr. Pelton? Yes, and Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, the variances have been granted. I'm sorry. Next application is A2211, on the application of Sumaya Elanabi, 26 Rumney Road, requesting a variance of Section 1728020, minimum parking requirements of the revised ordinances of the City of Revere to enable the appellant to convert a single-family dwelling to a two-family dwelling on Lot 325C at 26 Rumney Road.
Good afternoon. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. My name is Erin Hayes. My address is 22 Cedar Street in Walpole, Mass. I'm representing Sulami's family on the construction company.
Okay, so do you wish to add anything to that's already been submitted, or it speaks for itself?
I think it speaks for itself, but if you have any questions, I can try and address them.
Okay,
Absolutely.
seeing that this is a public hearing, I would ask that if there are any proponents, if there are proponents, anyone in favor, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Sumaya. I'm the owner of the 26 Rumney Road. My request is to convert my single-family house to two-family house.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
You want me to speak more?
No, so you're the actual homeowner, so it was muffled, but that's fine. Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing and hearing none, I'll ask if there's any opponents. Anyone opposed?
Hi, everybody.
If you could put the microphone right up to your face.
Yeah, I'm
with
having I'm kind
No
of a
problem.
gravelly voice, but my name is Mike Ragusa, and I live across the street from this particular home,
Your address, please?
number 29 Rumney Road,
Thank you.
and I've been there for quite a while. Additionally, I own a house next door at 15 Rumney Road. And I'm here to state my objection to the variance request for this 26 Rumney Road to be converted from single-family use to two-family residence. The preamble to the variance application to be discussed today is as follows. The applicant must be prepared to present data that tends to indicate that the public convenience and welfare will be substantially served by granting the exception or permission requested, that the exception or permission requested will not tend to impair the status of the neighborhood, that the exception or permission requested will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the revised ordinances of the city of Revere. Now, in 2003, I stood before this very board for the same property, for the same reason. And they were looking for a variance then to convert 26 Rumney Road to two-family due to parking ordinances. And that was the issue. It's still an issue. This request was unanimously denied by this board because the petition argued only personal hardship as a need for the variance, which at the time, the Massachusetts courts rejected that definition of hardship. The Zoning Board of Appeals 2003 decision stated that the appellant did not present sufficient evidence to show that the statutory prerequisites were met. The decision stated that in order to grant a variance, the ZBA must find an absence of substantial detriment to the public good, and the variance may be granted without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of the ordinance. And that's according to Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 10. So, since this 2003 decision, what has changed on the block of Rumney Road between Broadway and Graves Road? Well, since that time, there have been 3 additional two-family homes added to that portion between Broadway and Graves, and also 1 single-family home. That includes a total of 7 new driveway cuts. Each one of these homes is going to require a driveway cut. Each one of those 7 cuts is 1 less space on the street. So this street is really getting congested. As of today, this particular block is 61% two-family homes. It's quite a bit for a very short distance. Dimensionally, there are not enough on-street parking spaces for the homes currently. Entering and exiting my driveway is a nightmare due to parking congestion. On a day like this, imagine on a stormy day. It's almost impossible to do anything on that street. There are cars everywhere. Adding to the parking congestion is as follows. Number 1, Rumney Road is essentially the de facto parking for an apartment house that's on Broadway at number 896. That does not provide off-street parking for their tenants. Those people are parking on Rumney Road. They have a right to park there, I guess. That's their business. But the thing is, it's congesting the street. Number 2, Rumney Road is also the de facto parking for the businesses on Broadway through all 7 days of the week, and that also includes that are constantly going up and down the street. And number 3, as we've learned, Rumney Road also has 1 short-term rental operation, which creates.
That is not relevant to the Zoning Board of Appeals. So if you want to get to what your opposition is, I would gladly want to hear it.
No, that's
but
fine. That's
You're
fine.
going on to a dissertation that's going out of the protocol of
I'm
ours.
telling you what's going on my street.
But that's not relevant to what's being said here.
That's fine. I did not understand that,
Thank
and I
you.
accept it. If you add all these parking issues up, this block of Rumney Road is unique. We're the first one-way street where traffic can actually turn from Broadway onto Rumney Road. They can't turn on Pitcairn, can't turn on Gage. It's always Rumney Road. All the traffic goes down there. They'll go to Graves or wherever else they have to go. So if you add all these parking issues up, we're essentially a through traffic for all commercial vehicles from Broadway to Malden Street. So Rumney Road traffic is currently as active as a lot of arteries in Revere. The Revere revised zoning ordinances pertaining to the parking requirements are created for the safety of the city of Revere's residents. Parking congestion is unsafe for the residents as well as the drivers. There are children and elderly who live in this block, and maintaining the street is paramount to us. Back in 2003, the ZBA found that granting the variance requested, the general character of this residential neighborhood would be changed and the public good would not be served. I will end with a partial excerpt from one of the legal opinions referenced in this 2003 ZBA denial. If variances are granted with undue frequency or liberality and without strict compliance with the prescribed statutory criteria, zoning regulations can become a matter of administrative whim. This was their determination. The intended uniformity of rule may be destroyed. I respectfully request you consider those who went before you and also deny this variance request. And I thank you. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very well said. Just went on a little bit, but very well said. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak?
So I was wondering if we could just
Okay,
address
but
this
you're the applicant, we still have a public hearing going on, so if there's other speakers in the
Oh, I'm so
audience as
sorry.
far
I
as that wish to
apologize.
speak, I have to allow them, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I just want to state that everything Mr. Ragusa just said to you guys is true. Romney Road's very congested. After speaking with the applicant and speaking with the Ragusa family, it would be my recommendation to continue this to the next meeting to see if the applicants can maybe change the layout of the land to maybe put parking spaces, the right amount of parking spaces with no additional curb cuts. I also would like some time to speak to other members on that street as well. I think we're going to be planning a meetup so we can have a further discussion about it. But that would be my recommendation at this time. That would be my ask of you all.
Thank you. Counselor, how are you?
Doing very well, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. My name is Dan Rizzo, 35 Rowan Road. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I just wanted to speak in opposition to this project. There are a few reasons, but first let me say, and I know that there's one particular, or actually two residents that are here tonight, Mike and Marsha Ragusa. Mike, who spoke just recently, and they have nothing but nice things to say about their neighbor who was looking for this relief to make it a two-family from a one. So it is not anything personal with the neighbor, anything like that. It has everything to do with the quality of life down there. And Mr. Chairman, I don't know, maybe some of you, in all my years, in my 22 years in public life, I think I've been before the ZBA, you can probably count on two hands. I don't come up many times, and certainly I can't recall a time where I came up here in favor of a project. Usually if it's something that I feel is detrimental and I've heard from enough neighbors, you know, and just assessing the situation myself from just what I know from living in the city, I feel it's important enough in those cases. And this happens to be in one of those cases. Rumney Road, especially this end of Rumney Road, they bear the brunt of New Deal, which we all probably pretty familiar with, New Deal, Manny's Bakery, Sabella's. They don't have any real off-street parking. New Deal has some spaces, but if you go there on a prime time, you know, a Saturday morning or something like that, they're parked all up and down Rumney Road. And Rumney Road, coming from Broadway, if you're heading over to the west side of the city, is a major thoroughfare cutting through there. And, you know, parking, I think, as we all know, is really come at a premium in this city now. We've seen the development, and I think I've made clear my feelings on development over the years. You know, I'm very, very, you know, passionate about protecting the integrity of our neighborhoods. And, you know, you all live somewhere in the city, and I'm sure that, you know, where you live, Mr. Chairman, where I live, I'm concerned about what goes on in my neighborhood and how that's going to impact me and my family and our quality of life. This is a situation where a resident, an owner of a property is looking for a variance from our zoning ordinances, which we have in place, and I just believe in this wholeheartedly. We have a zoning ordinance to begin with for a reason. And I've always been a believer in the fact that if somebody is looking for a variance, it should be because of a real hardship, not a financial hardship, not one where, I mean, it's got to be something maybe having to do with, the topography of the land, maybe something that, real, but it should not be just because, well, I really wanted a two-family because I wanted someone to live with me, but I could only find a one-family in the hopes I could convert it to a two-family. That to me is just not a valid reason on why we should, put more off-street parking into an area that's already over-congested. And I just hope that you will take a real solid look at this. And, again, not to preach to you because I'm not. This is your meeting. I'm coming at it from a whole different standpoint. But I've always, in any vote that I've taken on anything, I've always tried to say, put myself in that other person's shoes. What if it were me? What if I lived in this area? And if you think in those terms, I'm hoping that, you can see Mr. and Mrs. Ragusa, the other couple of neighbors who I spoke with that live in the general vicinity of them, who really just want to live in peace and not have, further impositions on them from what they already might have with the traffic flows and that additional parking that the commercial businesses use. So respectfully, Mr. Chairman, I know I've taken up a lot of time. I appreciate the lenience and I appreciate you hearing me out. I hope that at the end of the day, you'll find it to not grant permission to expand an already busy area. This is there's still a lot of longtime neighbors down there that I saw this earlier hearing here, and I understand where they're coming from. And everyone makes decisions
Councilor, we
based
have a
on.
long agenda.
based
I'm
on
sorry to
what
cut
they-
you short, but we have other things going on tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Chairman Tucker.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Any other members, anybody else wish to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll close that sentence. Any members wish to speak?
Is this property, I drove by there today, and, no.
So the applicant, could you, representing the applicant, please step up to the microphone?
If you're facing the house, there's another house on the right, and is it a shared driveway? Because I see, it's a shared driveway. Okay, so how do you propose to fit 4 cars in that shared driveway?
So we have parking spaces in tandem. So there's parking spaces in tandem, but Revere doesn't allow tandem spacing. So what we're suggesting is, and hopefully this will help the neighbors. Sure, this will help the neighbors. We're not suggesting we do a curb cut. We're not suggesting that they park on the street. We're suggesting that the family that is moving in with them, cousins of them, and they have 1 car. And I know this could be like a rental place in the future, but right now it's 4 family, and they have 1 car. So if you look at the site plan, they park right here presently, and then there's tandem spaces that will fit 3 cars. But tandem isn't allowed in the city of Revere. So even though the parking would be in the driveway, we're asking for a variance to allow that tandem spacing. So in the driveway,
But you only have for 2 vehicles.
it would be, they park in the front now, and then there would be 3 tandem spaces in the driveway.
Okay, then for 1, this is going to be continued no matter what, because this
Okay.
plan does not depict any front yard parking, which is also required a variance.
So they park there now, that's where their driveway is?
Okay, but that's not depicted on this plan.
Okay.
So the plan would have to be redrawn according to the specifications for the Revere Zoning Board of Appeals, which it's not as at this time.
So we gave you 2 sets of drawings. One would be the proposed drawings of where the parking, for the 4 parking tandem spaces would be, and then what is allowed
Okay.
in Revere.
I suggest that if we decide to continue this, that you go online and look at the regulations that tell you how this plot plan should be drawn.
Yes, sir.
It has to have proposed,
I
And-
do believe we gave you two. One is proposed. Sure, Robert can address it.
I'm sorry, I worked with her at Mother Construction.
The variance that they're requesting is not for tandem parking in front of the apartment. The variance being requested is for a variance of 2 parking spaces from the required 4.
We originally had those on the drawings, but one of the spaces is a foot short on the width. And they told me that I was not allowed to have 3 tandem spots, only 2. And I was asked to, after we got denied by the building department and the plan review board, I was asked to take those off of the plans for this meeting. I'm sorry, this hearing.
okay, so the only parking that you're showing that's, would
Because I was
be,
asked to remove them.
would be the
sorry.
2 tandem parking, no parking in front of the home,
I was asked to remove the other 2 spots.
because they are not, they were illegal.
Right, because
Okay.
So that's
we
why
can't
we're
do 3 in a
being
row.
Right,
All right,
that's
so
why we're here.
we're only looking at this plan with 2 parking spaces on it.
And we're requesting additional, for them to use that space. They have 1 car for a family member.
You're not requesting anything in the front here. So you're requesting the 2 parking spaces that is depicted here, and that's it.
For zoning, they only need 1 parking space in the driveway for their family that's moving in.
No, they need 2 parking spaces for a single
Absolutely.
family, they need 4 for a 2-family.
Correct.
Okay. What is the will of the council? Do we have a motion to continue so that they can discuss this based on the ward councilor's request? Okay, there's a motion to continue, I'd ask for a roll call.
Shall the zoning board of appeals continue this application to the June meeting? Mr. Hemdan?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Lemonna?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Lopes? Yes. Mr. Pelton? Yes. And Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, this variance will be continued.
Thank you very much.
Next up is application A2212 on the application of Balboa LLC, seeking a variance of the minimum area requirement of 25,000 square feet within the TED district to enable the appellant to subdivide the existing lots into proposed new lots A and Lot B.
Good afternoon. If you could just state your name and address for the record, press the red button so the light comes on. There you go.
Catherine Hannigan, 355 Middlesex Ave, Wilmington.
Okay.
And I am here tonight on behalf of Paul Nealand, who is the manager of Carbell and Balboa at 25 and 55 American Legion Highway. He apologizes for not being here. He is unfortunately home with COVID.
I'm sorry, could you take that outside because the echoes are affecting the audio here? Thank you so much.
So I'll try to keep it brief, but just to give you a little bit of background, we were recently granted a special permit to raise 2 existing non-conforming structures at 25 and 55 American Legion Highway and redevelop the site. We will construct a standalone structure at 25 ALH for Starbucks and a larger structure at 25 ALH for Convenient MD, and the existing Pizza Days tenant will remain in the space. As part of the redevelopment, we looked at both sites as a whole and really just using this opportunity to try and clean up the lot lines. As I'm sure you can see through the plans that we've submitted, they're pretty triangulated right now. So really just want to straighten it out, make the lots more commensurate with what structures will actually be on each lot. And in doing so, the lot for 25 ALH will be just shy of about 21,000 square feet, which requires a variance from you because we're short of the 25,000 square foot requirement.
Okay. Seeing that it's a public hearing, I'd ask if there's any proponents, anyone in favor, and if the ward councilor is present, please, we welcome you to speak.
Thank you very much. Again, I just want to speak in favor of this. This project is going to, my favorite part of this project is going to be the urgent care, not the Starbucks, because I'm a Dunkin' Donuts guy, no offense, but the urgent care, the fact that they're taking a small business, giving them a brand-new facility. So this variance, I think, is totally acceptable. I'm on board with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other wish to speak? Hearing none, is there any opponents? Anyone opposed? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any members wish to speak? Is there a motion to approve? Seconded, roll call, please.
Shall the zoning board of appeals grant the relief requested? Mr. Hamdan?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Lemonna?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Lopes?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Pelton?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, this variance has been approved.
Having no further business, our next meeting would be June 22nd.